The sovereign pull cord is one of the hardest ones to replace because the coil spring which fits in here is actually hidden behind the actual pulley that goes in here. If the coil spring's broken, you'll need to remake the ends that go into the slots in the housing. But if you bend them, they'll break unless you temper them. So what I'm going to do now is stick this into the gas flame until it goes red hot. If you do that, there you are, it's going red hot. Let it cool gently, you'll be able to bend it without any problem at all. This is the place the return spring is most likely to break. So I've bent that round into a tight retainer. I've tempered it, by the way, so that it is soft and won't snap. And now I'm going to put it onto here, but I'm also going to use a glue gun. So if I bring that over here, I'm going to melt that onto here and retain it. That'll make life a lot easier. Now that's fixed in place here with hot melt glue, I'm going to wind this around the pulley. But that's going to be hard to insert into the blind hole. So I'm actually going to tape this with just all the electrical tape round here and there. And then when it's in place, I'm going to put it away. I've prepared 2 lengths of electrical tape here, so when I'm actually winding this up there and got my hands busy there, I won't have to cut this up, and I'll just be able to wrap it around here and hold that spring in place. Right, here's the hard bit. So I'm ready now to wind the coil spring around that inner pulley. So I'm able to do that single-handed, so I'm going to put the camera down, but you don't need special gloves or eyeglasses. Honestly, you can just hold it down like that with your hands. It's not hard. Well, I'm halfway there now, and I'm just going to keep that tight on that pulley. Now it's important not to get it overly tight, otherwise you won't get the pull range that you require. So I would suggest you just do it to the same diameter as the actual pulley behind it. Well, I'm there now. So all I've got to do now is put some tape over both sides, but not the centre hole, of course, and that will hold the spring in place. Right, that coil is now safely held in there by PVC tape, and all I've got to do now is drop that into the hole. Sounds easy, but you've got to be pretty clear what you're doing. I've made a bit of a clanger. Do you see what it is? I didn't put the pull cord around the actual pulley before I put it in. So I've got to take those tapes off very carefully and wind that pull cord round. Clockwise, I might add, otherwise it'll be going backwards and it'll unravel. Right, I've got the pull cord in the right way around this time, so it goes the opposite way to the spring. So the spring is going anti-clockwise and the cord is actually going clockwise. Well, after a lot of fighting and cursing, I've managed to push it in here, so the spring is now retained by the housing here, and I can now pull off these strips of electrical tape. But I've got to put in a screw first to retain the pulley. If you don't put that in, it's going to spring out. Right, I've now put the screw in to retain the pulley, and now I can actually relax and pull these bits of tape out. It's important, by the way, that screw is tight to start with, and you need to back it off after you've taken the tape off. Okay, it's sitting there nicely now, and the angle you can see is straight, which is good. I'm just going to put the screw back in, but I'll put a bit of glue on here, so when you drop that in here, it will stick in there and not come out. Oh, I haven't put the wash on, never mind. Okay. So I've glued this bit of plastic in now, and that will hold the spring in place no matter what, and also stop the string from chafing. So I was going to cut it down to size, and I think we're done. Rock and roll, eh? Yeah. Right, now to reinstall the cover onto the actual hedgetrimmer itself. Get the holes lined up. Right. The cover's on securely. A bit of extra slack here. I can always cut it here if I want to, but I won't. And we're just going to pull the spark plug out, and it should be alright. Yeah, brilliant. Job done. Happy days.